yeah, got stuck at a cat food marketing meeting for like 3 hours. I don't know a thing about cat food, and I don't even work in marketing. And then I got sent on a coffee run like I was some sort of intern. Then at the end of the day, when I want to go get gas, I just realized everything is so darn expensive nowadays, man.
Yeah, you got that right.
Like, do you have any idea how much we're spending on Netflix?
It's like 20 bucks a month.
Do you know how much we're spending on cable?
That's like 50 bucks a month.
But you know what isn't expensive?
Tell me.
Kart Chaser Premium. For only $9.99 a month, you can watch all of the American karting action live from coast to coast. Subscribe and become a member today. Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go, come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico, it's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure of the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspects with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Paulie Massimino wins in KA. Paulie Massimino is a winner in OKN Stars.
Take your driving to the next level with one-on-one coaching from 2024 OKN Stars champion, Paulie Massimino. Kart rental options are available if you'd like to keep yours at home, and drivers in all classes are welcome, from Briggs 206 to Mini to KA100 and X30. With in-depth data analysis, onboard video footage review, and lead follow on-track sessions, each private coaching session will see you end as a more complete driver than when you started. Book your coaching session now.
Gee, looks like we're missing the engine. What the hell am I supposed to tag?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You gotta make way. Okay, you're good.
I'm sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean, you don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg, Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle.
How the did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You need it? We got it. At Kart Heat Parts, we are your complete online aftermarket kart part superstore. From chains to bearings to bumpers and components, we've got it in stock and ready to ship straight to your door from our base in Ontario, Canada. Check us out online at karteparts.ca.
Karts have been released onto the racetrack. It's time to go racing for the first time at CKNA Grand Nationals number 9. Caleb Vieska stepped out of the booth. He'll be roaming the pits and giving you all the intel down trackside. My name's Xander Clemens, alongside me, whose voice you've been listening to all morning, Justin Prince. We're ready to get things going here, Justin. This should be a ton of fun to kick things off for the first of 2 cadet-sized divisions on the schedule. Of course, top of the batting lineup today has the cadet class. That's the younger of the 2. This is going to be their first heat race. We'll run through 1 round of heats altogether for the entire cadet group and for sportsmen, as well as masters and kit kart. Senior medium, where you saw had a ton of drivers, got split in 4 groupings. They'll run 2 groupings together, so they'll have 2 heats coming up after this one. But kick it off with cadet. Hometown kid, Hudson Howard on the pole alongside New Gen Motorsports' own Liam 4. Ruben Greer and Grant Heckman will make up row 2. Slade Harrell and Dalton Sears will make up row number 3, Justin.
Spencer Hyde and Anderson Hemphill will make up row number 4. Dennis Lemstoner will start alongside Austin Taylor in the top 10. Jackson Reinholz starts alongside Jackson Brewster inside the top 12 as the rest of the field scrolls through.
Nearly fully sold out. It'll take us 3 full pages to get through them all. Here's a look at the middle of the pack here from 21st back to Kyler Hendrickson with some work to do back in 40th. In total, there are 45 drivers on the cadet grid here this weekend. Starting shotgun on the field, all by his lonesome in row 23 will be Elias Yunez in the number 3. So here we go. Hudson Howard on the right-hand side of your screen, folks, there in the blue and white. Jay Howard Driver Development Machine, the all-white New Gen Motorsport number 4, Liam 4 on the outside, and we are off and away. No, Jason Burgess says that's not as tidy as he would like it to kick off racing here from CKNA Grand Nats 9. So he'll send the kids to the cut-through. And you noticed, if you're looking deeply behind our graphic overlay for the grid, that they did go all the way down to I-70. They will be doing that only on the pace lap. The layout you saw them run in qualifying and happy hour, as well as the warm-up session earlier this morning, that'll be the same layout. All will race minus kit kart, of course, that runs this alternate course, taking a left-hand turn right at the grid corner, what would be turn number 3 on this layout. In total, 18 corners here, and this layout was last raced at Grand Nationals number 7 2 years ago, using the shark fin, the cut through here. We've run a couple of different variations at Newcastle Motorsports Park in years past. Last year we ran all the way down here to the I-70 corner, and in talking with some of the drivers, you would think that having the bigger straightaway for the 9 horsepower Briggs and Stratton machines, especially the restricted ones with the throttle slide, restricting them from going full throttle in cadet, sportsman, and junior and kit kart. Kit kart even running a coil that knocks the rev limiter down another 1,000 RPMs, that it would be less beneficial. So we got a spin for Elias, top of the screen. He'll try to get back going. They said it was a little bit easier to race. So how good can these kids do to work their way towards the front row? They're going to have to wait again. And I think this time it might count against them. We're showing 1 lap completed. So we stay under yellow. No green on the second time by. One big point of this event here, Justin. This is, I was telling you a little bit about it yesterday here. Your first time to the CKNA Grand Nationals, that this is kind of an annual pilgrimage for many club racers, as well as the regional racers from the Midwest and the Southeast that are not too far away, and the national racers that hit about every traveling circus event that we go to. I'm sure for you it's probably a little bit overwhelming how packed this place is.
Yeah, it is massive, the amount of people here in. I only got the chance to walk at least half of it. I have walked to where I've been told a lot of the Canadian sides go. We are swapping, by the way, the lead carts, by the way, because of the 2 start issues already.
Yep.
So this will see a change for your front row to completely change things where it should be Greer and Heckman, if my numbers are correct, but that would be here up in front instead.
Indeed. So that's Ruben Greer in the white helmet, I believe, on the inside. Heckman on the outside in the black helmet. They're trying to get Hudson Howard back refired. He should be able to go back to the second row. They shouldn't send him all the way to the rear, I would think. But there's been a lot of... there he is. He's back on row 3 along with Liam 4. So they're back 1 extra row. And it looks like that's where they're going to start him. So they're going to bump him back 2 rows for the aborted start. This is at the race officials and head flagman Jason Burgess' discretion. If they think the front row is the issue, I think they're realizing that, no, I think they're just going to slow them down here. They want to get all 45 kids grouped up nice together. And we've got one more spun top of the hill. Should be able to get him back into line. They look good enough, but we're going to still send them around one more time to make sure that they are okay. So we will stay under yellow. It gives us a little moment to kind of catch up where we were about this. That this is, again, by the numbers, the biggest entry count karting event in North America and one of the biggest in the world. We'll have to fact check to check that, at least when it comes down to road course sprint karting. You got to go apples to apples here. The dirt karting scene, of course, massive in the States. The Maxxis Big O was ran a couple of weeks ago. That has about 900 entries, but you also have a couple different days and a different way of counting the overall numbers because you've got so many drivers that will run multiple classes. We'll have a little bit of that here. You'll see some of the same names you're seeing so far this morning in senior medium running either senior light or senior heavy. You'll see some senior heavy drivers because the weight's very similar run to masters, and some of the masters drivers at 35 and over might make the jump if they're eligible to go to the 50 and over legends class and double up as well. Get double the seat time, and it's easy to manage with the way they've laid the schedule out with the half and half schedule for today and tomorrow. So half the classes here will be wrapped up by lunchtime. The other half will get to race under the lights here at Newcastle. Let's see if we can get our first one, though, on this time by the loop. 8 laps on the board. Nice and slow from your front row. Again, they need to get down to pace speed really earlier than probably most of them are used to with how big the grid is. And it's an adjustment for everyone further back. For many drivers of the 45 you're seeing on your screen, I have to imagine this might be one of the biggest kart counts on track they've ever been a part of. And they're about to take their first green flag in racing conditions. With that, here we go. This time we've got it. We're racing from Newcastle. Heat 1 underway. So far, so good. Liam 4 a little bit out of shape, but we at least took the whole field through the first couple 90s. Let's see if they can survive the crest here into the horseshoe for the first lap. Looks like we will. Cadet Racing off and green and single file for the majority of your top 10. Took a few tries to get it, but this is why they wanted to do that, obviously, Justin. They wanted to make sure everyone got a chance to run the 8 laps to the best of their ability. So they'll keep them single file out of the cell tower. Your leader is going to be Grant Heckman there in the 222, right behind him, slotting nicely into lines. Ruben Greer, now he's going to go to the lead here in the green corner. And we do have a report of already one penalty as the officials' radios are lighting up here, Justin.
Yeah, Grant Heckman jump start was what we heard over the radio. That's why I think he's having to give up so many spots all of a sudden here, because you don't want to give yourself too big of an advantage in this field. Not the way we wanted things to start for these competitors with already a lot of retries on the start, but now we see this entire train try to sort itself out. There's the penalty flag coming out right there, going the way of Heckman's direction, as 4 tries to make up some ground in the background as well for the 6th spot.
So 1 lap in the books. You'll see the live leaderboard on the left-hand side of your screen. Ruben Greer now with Dalton Sears behind him making the pass for second, or Slate Harrell, sorry, in the 288. Dalton Sears back to 3rd. A Nitro Kart 1-2. Hudson Howard, top qualifier, back up to 4th. Liam 4 still runs back in that 6th or 7th spot with the likes of Anderson Hemphill. And then again, only 1 lap in, and they will start in progressive formation throughout the weekend. So the better you do through the heats, the better your weekend gets. Of course, on the overall points for the grand final grid, but it also becomes a little bit easier to march through the packs. Here we are with Liam 4. A little bit of a split has formed back from the 222 of Logan Heckman, or Grant Heckman, sorry. And we've got Hudson Howard making that move for 3rd. So a few changes early, but the Nitro Karts are keeping it locked and loaded up front. Ruben Greer will lead us out of the shark fin to the final corner here. This will be a very interesting section, I think, in the full-size classes. I don't know if we'll see too many last lap moves in that section, but we'll absolutely see a lot of passes down the straightaway if you don't have the formation we've got right now, Justin, of teammates up front who are just trying to log some laps here and kind of run out the clock, if you will.
Absolutely. And for this, it's going to be where can you coordinate together? Can you try and break away as a respective pack? Talking with some of the drivers for the Nitro camp yesterday, in fact, and they had mentioned they had felt good on speed. Both Greer and Harrell did. Harrell, mind you, did talk about needing to learn a little bit about this layout, in particular with the cut through to get used to that part of the racetrack. Seems like he's got himself up to speed despite having a throttle issue where the throttle cord broke yesterday. That cost him a fair bit of seat time. We know Harrell can be competitive. He's doing a good job working to be able to work forward as you see some of the drivers like Adi losing some ground.
Yusuf Adi actually up a little bit. As we check back in, he's up 6 spots already. Yusuf Adi there in the number 63 has climbed now into the frozen top 10 on the Mark Steele Motorsports Bureau Art, and a few others further back have made some moves. Dusty Strayer's up 7 from 22nd on the grid to 15th. Tristan Francisco, one of our most recent national race winners here in the States, has also climbed up a handful, up 6 as we reach the cross flags from Jason there, halfway in, halfway home. Ruben Greer continues to show the way as the top 4 stay single file to try and whittle down the pack a bit, get a little further away before we begin to maybe trade some spots towards the end. So it's Greer, Harrell, Howard, and Sears, and then the pack behind them looked like for a moment Grant Heckman was going to come under pressure for that 5th spot. He hangs on to it through the horseshoe section, but that second group may be starting to get antsy as they see the top 4 begin to inch away. Last time by, they all were running in the 115.8s. That second pack, high 115.9s to low 116. So they lost about a 10th to maybe 2. You saw Austin Taylor make a move earlier. Here's a move in the lead group. Hudson Howard trying to split up the teammates side by side. Slade Harrell's going to fend him off into the scoreboard, and Hudson will have to send it again deep on the brakes. This time, he's got it completed, and Slate will try to cross him up in the Monza. Let's see if he can do it. Still there. Not quite. Hudson Howard up to second if he can hold on through the kink here, and he does. Mark it official coming to 4 laps complete. 4 to go.
Cost him a ton of ground on the racetrack, though, with all that side-by-side, and Jay Howard, or rather Hudson Howard should say, in the Jay Howard development machine, already signaling we got to work together if we want a chance to be able to close back up and have a chance for this race lead here. And that's the tough thing, is Hudson Howard before that point had the best 3-lap average out of the entire field. Howard has speed. It's just, will anyone work together with them? But look at how much draft pulled up in one straightaway. 4 kart lengths picked up over top the crest alone. Hudson Howard leading this pack right back to closing up with how much suction you can get down these straightaways.
Yeah, it doesn't take all too much, and 2, you got to remember as well that the pushing effect is huge once you get to the limiter. Hudson Howard will take the slipstream, though, to go to the lead there in the kink, and Slate Harrell's going to follow it up with a 1-2 punch. His teammate Ruben Greer now back to 3rd, side by side for 4th. That train is trying to go in the infield hairpin. Dalton Sears looking. No, that's Heckman there in the 222, up to 4th and working his way back. Or up to 5th for a moment. It was Sears that got through to 3rd. Heckman still 5th, leading that next group, but they're back connected again. And this pack really, you can mark it all the way back to Elam Stoner in the 41, and he runs right behind Yusuf Adi in the 63, if that's correct. Double sticks are out now. We're showing, it looks like that this race was cut by 1, so 7 laps will be the distance instead of the original 8. And Hudson Howard right at prime time. He's got a little bit of a gap now back to Slate Harrell. Will that be good or bad news? It looks like it's going to be good because they're going to fight for second. Here comes Dalton Sears to the inside. No.
Sears not able to open up the store and be able to get himself a sail to the inside for that spot. But so far, Sears has been very crafty in his lines trying to take spots. Give credit to Forum, able to get himself at least a 6, but already back and forth we go. Harrell trying to play some defense. Sears, yet again, gets the pole, clears on by. As they all shuffle about, 4 jumps up to the 5th position for good measure also, as they all start to battle. And one of the things, too, to mention when it comes to that 4 machine, he does not like finishing just in 4th like his namesake. He likes to win races. Seems to be one of the drivers looking to try and punch his way through the rest of this pack. We see him lined up as they make their way through a 1 driver cuts to the grass.
It's already starting to get a bit intense at the front of the field. White flag away this time. Hudson Howard still your leader. Big late defensive move there from Slate Harrell down the main straight on Ruben Greer. And if they work together from this point in the lap, it looks like from what we've seen already, they could get back up to the lead, but that's a tall order. The Hope may ride on the back of Dalton Sears to track down Hudson Howard, but the home track kid leads the way now into the horseshoe with only half a lap remaining. This group has also lost a little bit of ground with Yusuf Adi and that Spencer Height that has climbed back into the 10th spot. He slipped backwards a little bit in the opening couple of laps. Those 2 have lost the main group, and they've got at least a little bit of room back to Anderson Hemphill and Tristan Francisco and Dusty Strayer, who, by the way, now have climbed up to 12th and 13th. Both of them up 10 spots apiece. Howard leading here on this final lap. That group has caught Sears for second. Will they push him back to the lead? They won't have a ton of time. Slade Harrell, bumper, looking, inside, contact, and around he goes! Slade Harrell in front of the field on the final lap. Side by side with Dalton Sears. Ruben Greer now commands the group. Sears has fallen back a few spots. Big loser out of that, Slade Harrell. And on the final lap of our first heat race of the day, we've already got a bit of chaos. For the leader, it'll be clean to the end, though. Hudson Howard will score Heat 1 in Cadet to Ruben Greer to Grant Heckman. Elam Stoner, big time gains on the final lap for himself, and Austin Taylor, a couple of Indiana natives as well. 4th and 5th, Liam 4 in the 4, slips back on the overall, but it could have been a whole lot worse for some of the drivers started around him, as we've saw. 6th for the New Gen Motorsports drivers, Spencer Height, Yusufati, and Tristan Francisco. And Dusty Strayer are going to pull off a top 10 from 20th and 22nd on the grid. Heck of a charge up the leaderboard over Anderson Hemphill, James Fox, Nathan Stockwell, Grayson Wyatt, and Luke Bullpit. Your top 15 of the 45. We did lose a handful on that last lap by. Dalton Sears and Slate Harrell will slide well down the board in the contact that spun the two around. 33rd and 34th by unofficial timing and scoring, and it might go deeper than that with the rest of the field getting ready to cross the line as well. Looked like it was pretty clean overall, so they may drop even further. We'll have to take another look at that for sure, and as that updates, indeed, Dalton Sears to 45th. Slate Harrell did continue. He ended 35th at the stripe. Racing hard for second here. Heat racing, again, Justin, with the progressive format means that there's a bit of reward, but a whole lot of risk. And there you can see the heartbreak for young Dalton Sears in the 324 MPG Kart Republic, having to take the recovery trailer back to pit lane.
Yeah, and it came from a pretty aggressive set in the first place, going to the scoreboard. And Harold tried to go very low and flat, just couldn't get the cart to hold on to the line, but also at the same time, Sears trying to arc it down to the corner. The contact, it can go either direction, depending on how things look on the replay side of things. But overall, an interesting one as we get ready for more racing. And why don't we take a bit of a break? Watch tonight's action once again from Indiana.
You know, I'm really starting to like this go-karting thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayCara.com. At ShopPayCara.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayCara.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal.
Sure does.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free? Kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
Paulie Massimino wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix. James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win number 1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarskrek Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarskrek, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarskrekRacing.com.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Florida Kart Racers, you asked for it and we're going to bring it. Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the CKNA Grand Nationals number 9. So you can see we are just going over a couple of final checks on the grid for senior medium before our next batch of heat races get underway. It's a much different picture. Sun is out, t-shirts are on, jackets are off. It's starting to warm up here in Newcastle, Indiana. No better way to get an idea of what things are like and what is on tap for the rest of the day, what to expect for the on-track action than to be down on the racetrack. That's where Caleb Vieska finds himself. Caleb, what do you have for us here as we get set and ready for some more racing action?
Thank you, Xander. I just got done talking with Cup Karts North America officials. There was an unprecedented number of engine changes at the end of qualifying before the first heat race, which has put us in a little bit of a confusion state, if you will, where, again, they're trying to figure out the lineups. Timing is hardly working on it, and it looks like, or working hard at it. Bad use of words there, my fault. But it looks like they have gotten them printed as well. So we are about 5 to 10 minutes away. That's the time I'm going to guess on where we are at the moment. But yeah, there was an issue with an unprecedented number of engine changes after qualifying before heat race number 1, which has put us in this little bit of a hold up. Back to you, Xander.
There's always a whole lot of entries at the CKNA Grand Nationals, senior medium, the marquee division of the 3 senior classes, ages 15 and over. Over 100 entries on tap of the 500 plus in attendance. I think we're at about 560 or more. We had a handful of walk-ups on the week, even though most classes were right at capacity or at it. So for senior medium, the last bit of math here is trying to make sure that we have the grid with all drivers that should be on it, because the groups have been split in 2. After qualifying, the way that it works is you have first go to be top of the A group, second in overall qualifying, top of the B group, third in overall, top of the C group, fourth in overall qualifying, top of the D group. And then they'll run in a round-robin formation for heats 1, 2, and 3. So each heat will see 2 of those groups together. For heat number 1, we'll have the first and fourth overall qualifiers together, groups A and D in the first of the 2. The second group for senior medium in this first round of heat races will be groups B and C. That'll be led off by your second and third overall qualifiers. Then through the rest of the weekend, right, you'll race everyone in your group 3 times. You'll race everyone else at least once. So A will meet C tomorrow, A will meet B tomorrow, so on, so forth. That's where the last bit of checks are being done to make sure that drivers in groups B or C are indeed in B and C and don't end up missing out on a heat race, intending to go with the second group and being actually labeled to go on the grid in the primary group. With that taking a few moments, of course, gives us plenty of time to kind of walk around, take a look at everyone, get a look into the determination of each driver, mechanic, family, team member, and team owner as well, because this class will be the cleanup division, the main event at the end of Grand Final Sunday, the 9th of the 9 on the lineup. Only the top so many will make it through to the overall main by Sunday. There'll be last chance qualifier races Sunday morning. Those will be free to view for those that are watching along as well, to want to see who is fighting for those final few tickets into the big dance. But that begins really with qualifying that we ran earlier today, because that'll be a tiebreaker if any of the points end up even across the board for drivers after all 3 heats are run. Of course, all the supplementary information that you need and rules and info, as well as the full schedule, you can find on cupkarts.com, the official website of Cup Karts North America, and new for this weekend, the official CKNA Discord server that'll have plenty of updates and the help desk for any questions you may have on information on the weekend. The heat scoring, for example, is important to note because it may be different than what some drivers are used to. We've seen a few different points formats be used in championships, but typically we've seen only 1 or 2 variations with heat points. This weekend it is different. There's a 6-point swing from first to second, and there are still incremental swings more than 1 point from second on back. That's about another 5-point difference from P2 to P3, because it's 100 points to win a heat race, 94 to second, 89 to third, 85 to fourth, 82, and a 3-point diff down to fifth. Then it drops down to a 2-point difference at 6th, and then from 7th onwards, every position is just 1 point, all the way down to 60th in a heat race, which will be the maximum count at 26 points. The LCQ will have everyone outside of the top 56, and it will only offer 4 final starting spots for the top 4 finishers from the last chance qualifier on Sunday morning. So 56 drivers will point their way in to the grand finals on Sunday. 4 will have to race their way in Sunday morning in a quick rack-em-up 10-lap dash amongst about probably another 50 or so drivers, depending on what the final head count has become here in senior medium. We saw all of them qualify. Justin, what did you kind of take away from qualifying earlier today?
What I took away from qualifying was position of where you are is critical, because one of the major aspects of that qualifying session was your dominant driver throughout senior medium for the past few years, 8-time champion in Colin Warren, didn't get any draft, was on his own for much of the session, put himself down in 30th, for example. Didn't really have anybody to work with. Those who were in some sort of draft at least picked up a good half-second plus compared to those who did not. So it was so critical to be able to get the draft built up in the first place. And if you didn't have that, well, you're going to have a very hard time. You better have raw speed in general with your pace now that you've had your qualifying session lose you the potential of track position to start and put you in the around 15th or so in your group.
Well, if there's one thing we do know about Colin Warren, though, even though he may be starting a little bit further in his heat races with a 30th in qualifying overall, again, provisionally, from what we saw, there may have been some extra penalties imposed. He's no stranger to being at the front, the winningest driver in CKNA Grand Nats history, Justin.
Yes, a dominant driver who in last year was in the mix of the battle for the race win once again. 2024, it was between him and Henry Wheeler. Many of the other drivers were busy battling outside the top 5, but the top 2 pulled away.
Yeah, this whole last lap was very reminiscent of the previous couple of laps in the second half of the race. With the senior medium class featuring a lot of drivers pulling double or even triple duty like Owen Lloyd, storylines build throughout earlier grand finals on the day. And Colin Warren, he was doing everything he could to work with the driver that on paper wouldn't have been maybe his best dancing partner. Henry Wheeler there in front on the Mark Steele Motorsports black-white.
It was such a hard race, and then coming to here, I knew I had a strong kart, and I am so happy.
Black, white, and red machine. And Henry Wheeler, there, as you heard a little bit from Colin Warren, talking about how good the day was for him. It was fantastic up until the last couple of feet, and it still was good because they had pushed away from the rest of the pack. Like you said, Justin, they didn't want to be a part of any of the chaos or mess. In fact, the start of this race had a lot of big drivers quickly go to the wayside. It opened the door for Colin to do what he does best. Find a way to be a part of a 2-car tandem to get away. And in the run down to the line, I think he and Henry were just happy enough to escape with clean bodywork, clean go-karts, and a shake of the hands as they drag raced to the line in a fun one. And Colin Warren added to his unprecedented win tally at the CKNA Grand Nationals. Might start 30th, Justin. He'll be one to watch to see how quickly or how long, if at all, it takes him to be right in the spotlight at the front of the field.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big test now to see can he withstand the circumstances of having to start to as far back as he is. It's going to be a difficult one, I think, in general, to be able to make up just with how much ground is lost. He was the top of the board in his happy hour practice group, so he's got race pace in the kart. It's just, will he be able to do so in the racing conditions and keep himself clean? That's the most difficult part of this ender, is just being able to make those spots up without causing yourself too much grief as you progress your way through those heats the next 2 days.
One thing we do know at least, though, is the starting lineup as the grid begins to fill for the massive, massive field of 60 drivers that will be a part of heat number 1 for senior medium. In fact, in total, the head count has grown to 101. Looks to be or 121. My mistake. 121 drivers is the final head count on senior medium. 60 drivers will be a part of heat number 1 for groups A and D. 61 will be a part of groups B and C. It'll be a long time for us to get through all the names of them as they begin to go onto the grid. It does look like we do have our final version of this starting lineup, or at least close to it, for this session. It may be knocked down a handful to 52 based on timing and scoring here, so it might be a little bit less than the 120 that I thought we were for a moment. I know the top of the field is solid, though, and that's where we will kick things off. James Overbeck, no stranger to being at the front of these events either. He was a force to be reckoned with last year. He'll get set to lead the field of green, one of many Coyote Racing chassis on the grid at CKNA Grand Nationals number 9. Cale Zimmerman leads the VLR contingent for the outside of the front row. Mind you, again, Cale will be the driver at the top of the D group, which unfortunately for Cale
Had he been a couple hundred slower or faster, he might be on the inside lane for all of his heats. Instead, he'll have to start outside of the front row for all three, being the 4th overall qualifier and the top of Group D. Will Lawler in the number 10 for Low Key Racing. Sodi will start to the inside of row number 2, and an Indiana native makes up the outside of that second row. Eli Fox on the 418 machine will roll from position number 4. Justin.
Row number 3, Adam Brickley starts off with the 5th position. One of the drivers a threat for the pole during the qualifying session alongside Brady Atwood in Kart 6, very fitting for the spot. Owen Lloyd, he's been red hot all year when it comes to CKNA competition. Multiple-time champion in his region. Braden Zerves will start in the 8th position.
Braden Zerves, one of the hottest young talents moving up this year to senior medium in full. He starts just ahead of another young talent on the way, his teammate Kay Yeager to the outside of row 5. David Baker on the 922 MGM machine will be the second to last driver inside the top 10 and first 5 rows. And then another very youthful row number 6, Lucas Theck on the inside in the 52. Josie Chambers on the outside in the 645. Brady Eichhoff and Jack Grote will then make up row number 7. Levi Getz, Jamie Stropko on row 8. Braggy Vainwright and Caleb Jarvis Comey on row 9. Bryce Frank, the Texas Sprint Racing Series champion from 2024, to the inside of Dylan Callahan, completes this first page of the 52 total starters for senior medium. Let's see if we can pick out some of the big names that'll be starting a little bit further back. How about right here on row number 11? Sam Bavrutsky's a name we've seen starting to knock on the door of a national podium in KA100 senior. He rolls back from 21st alongside Giovanni Benson and Huntington Bolton on the inside of Nicholas Kiefer, 2 drivers that have been on the box at national and regional CKNA events previously. They roll all the way back from row number 12.
Then you also throw back as well Scotty Watkins, Devin Boyle.
How about Christopher McKeithen and Dylan Amundsen right here, back on row number 14?
I was about to say Christopher McKeithen just last month was competing in the Canadian National Championship, won the race in a battle where he was off of the grass at some point over at Motorsports. It was a back and forth affair on that. Kyle Wick down in 32nd as well to throw into the mix for this field. Ian Quinn down in 36th. There are a lot of talented drivers that are way down the order. Jason Rothman, one of the top Canadian division runners, down at 37th.
An all-Indiana row in the middle of all that, too. Brayton Johnson, Addison Ianello, both of them have run at the front of this field. Addison led a good amount of laps in Cincinnati at the Summer Nationals. She's back in 34th. Jake Sessler, along with Kyle Wick, the GFCs are going to be having a lot of work to do to be trying to work through the field. Aiden Lorenko was impressive in Charlotte for the Spring Nationals. He's back in 31st. But I am really interested to see that number 27 and 28 on the grid. The 19 and the 136 try to march through the field. That's an uphill fight for sure. Now let's look all the way to the final few rows here. Young Ryan Mort on his senior medium debut to the inside of Adriano Iannuzzi. Austin Hill and Cami Feister back on row number 22. Matt Landers back on row 23 alongside with Colin Evans, McAndrew Gamrod, Thomas Sherrick, Anthony Bissett, Carson Bartlett, and the final few drivers here on the last row, Elijah Firesign and Jed Perkins. Jed and his father James racing this weekend. He has run at the front of the CKNA National Fields. His father, of course, will be one to contend with in the Legends class, and I don't know if James is running in Masters as well, but he could easily be a grand final winner favorite come Sunday for Jed. If he is going to be lined up for senior medium, there may be a story with him or with Firesign, any of the drivers all the way this far back that they might have bypassed senior medium to focus on one other division on the weekend, whether that be senior light or senior heavy. With many duplicate or triple entry drivers, you'll see that by the end of Thursday practice day or maybe Friday, saying, you know what, I got a better shot if I focus all my efforts on a single class than try to split my focus in two. But if they are lined on the grid, there are 50 drivers in front of them, 52 ready to go racing here in senior medium. It'll be interesting, too, for Owen Lloyd, what tonight will look like for him, pulling triple duty once again. Senior light and senior heavy are both in the night group tonight, so that'll be a quick back and forth run through those sessions. There are a few more groups split when you get to the qualifying sessions, of course. There'll be a little more time for Owen to get back to the pit area and make some changes, but he's in the same boat as the rest of the senior mediums, including any drivers running just two classes like light and medium or medium and heavy. because the only senior class here in the morning rotation today, senior medium. So it looks like at least most of this grid is now on the ground, and the second group are kind of scattered amongst them towards the back, waiting for their opportunity to go racing as well. Mark Steele Motorsports, the official title partner for senior medium, and the title partners for the overall CKNA Grand Nationals number 9, the Toyota GR Cup car on display from TRD, Toyota Gazoo Racing, on site here. They've got a massive display in the pits as well. It's where the Nitro karts are based out of, and their longtime relationship with TRD, Toyota Racing, powering Nitro Motorsports. But if you want to take a look at a full race car, Toyota has a huge package up for grabs for top drivers this weekend. They'll be taking 6 drivers in total to the TRD headquarters in North Carolina and run them through a full weekend of training and development and begin to build a relationship for some of the stars that might need to be or be looking to be on the radar of one of the most successful motorsports brands here in America in the last 20 years.
Absolutely, and keep in mind the type of racing that the GR Cup puts on is some of the top racing, arguably you can say, in the country, because its ability to go side by side digital racing, part of the SRO schedule as well when it comes to the rotation of races, and some of their talented drivers a part of this field. Take, for example, out of Berkeley, one of the drivers who runs with Copeland Motorsports is a part of the drivers that run those respective cars. So you have a lot of talent that's made their way from the karting ranks up into those series to race in Toyota GR Cup North America competition and be able to develop their skills from there and prove they can be some of the best drivers in some of the best cars on the platform.
Weston Workman, this year's Toyota GR Cup champion from BSI Racing, also one of many karting graduates that has begun to really make some waves in the motorsports scene as of late. Spike Kohlbecker is a name many will remember from Briggs 206 and Margay racing action. He had his second full year, I think, in the GR Cup Series. Might have been his first full year here this year. I'm sure he, along with Weston and many more, are keeping their eyes on the field as James Overbeck has, look at that, what an amazing shot. 50 drivers lined up behind him, and there's the command. Let's send him out on the racetrack here after a little bit of deliberation to make sure we got the right ones on the grid in the right order. Senior, medium, groups A and D are making their way on to the Newcastle Motorsports Park 18-turn, 1.1 mile layout for the first time in racing action here today. Let's go back down to you, Caleb. What do you have for us now as we finally got the engines fired up once again?
Xander, I heard you talking about Colin Warren and his qualifying, right? Not up to standards, but after speaking with him a little bit here, while we had that little bit of break, he's not worried at all. He said, I've made drives like this. I've won the Grand Nationals from 20th before, after that's where I qualified. He said the heat races, that's where it all matters. So he's feeling nice and still within a shot.
And it's just a matter of trying to incrementally improve that score, right? Yes, all 3 heat races will combine for that grand final grid position, but you will start the following heat race where you finish this one. So building off what Caleb mentioned there, Colin Warren doesn't need to go all the way to the front of the field here in heat number 1. If he picks up 5 or 7 spots, he'll start that much higher in heat 2, picks up a few more in heat 2 and another bit in heat 3, and combine all that together along with the natural attrition that will inevitably happen with this many go-karts and this talented of a grid on screen. It looks like the adjustment that we saw from the grid we were looking at may have been the case here. That it looks to be Dylan Amundsen in the 136 lined up on row number 2. So while we thought we may have had the order right, there may have been some adjustments. That might have been one of the many fixes that were done down on the grid. So here we go. We at least know, along with Ian Christopher McKeithen, they won't be buried that far back. McKeithen on the outside in the 19, Overbeck on the inside in the 48, Spinner in the back, the 555. One of the low-key Sodies has spun, but we are racing here down at turn number 1. Jason Burgess gives them the green.
Interesting start for a majority of the field, but already single file once the top 5 as they rumble with their way through, go over the crest this time. Going to be important to get yourself sorted quickly. Get yourself in line. Some 3 wide in the middle of the pack.
Kyle Wick off the grass and down the embankment at the exit. And now Addison Ionello is going to get turned around in front of the field. It'll collect a few more. That might have been Adam Brickley in the middle of it. We'll have to confirm it when we can. For the moment, Christopher McKeithen leads to Dylan Amundsen through the kink to the green corner. Overbeck 3rd, Zimmerman 4th. And a wild couple of opening turns here in senior medium for groups A and D. Kyle Wick to the grass and a spin that collects 3, if not more. First lap coming to a close this time.
One of the clips that was worked on by the social media team was identically exactly that can happen though heading into the horseshoe, where you get knocked off of the grass and you just take the momentum right back through the middle of 6 and 7 to the racing line. Already chaos reigning, but McKeithen trying to keep what's been a stellar start of the year and continue it to the very end. He was amongst the drivers that have battled for drag races all season long in this class.
On the run through the 90s here. Let's take a look. That is the 122 that is off to the wayside. We lost a handful in the running order. Most were able to continue, all but one. Lost the rear tire there in the incident. Meanwhile, in the middle of the pack, let's check in here with some moves being made. Brickley actually did make it through. He was okay. It was a different driver that we lost. Cade Yeager was the one that we saw get collected, it looked like, with Addison Ianello and more in the horseshoe. So Yeager to the rear. Brickley, on the other hand, on the charge forward in the happy cart. The 88 picking up a spot in the cell tower. Christopher McKeith and Dylan Amundsen still your leaders to Overbeck, to Zimmerman, and to Eli Fox. And then here's the second group. Brickley leads to Kelvin Zing there in the red and black Alan Rudolph Racing Academy MG. And behind him, we've got a bunch of faces to begin to learn on the weekend. Will Lawler, Aiden Lorenko, Owen Lloyd in 11th, end of the opening lap. And we'll have to watch if he can make this move stick with Aiden Lorenko starting to carve up the grid. That was a nice move down the inside for the 29. He'll pick up 1 as Lawler drops back there in the all-red machine. And here's Lloyd around the outside of him. Owen making quick work of it. Another move there. That's Ian Quinn in the 79, getting his elbows out there over the curbing.
Quinn making up a lot of ground so far. Originally had been slotted 36 before all the adjustments, but has been able to pick up spots. The top 5 all single file. More drivers making some more moves in the midst of the field as they continue to squabble their way around Brickley, trying to work right now with...
He's trying to get some help from Kelvin Zing to catch this 5-pack here. He's got some separation now. Looks to be Lorenko leading that pack of a couple PPK Coyotes. And on the other end, the 92 machine, Scott Clayman in the all-red car, continues to just try and fight off the cavalry in this third pack. That's Brady Atwood there that's now gotten the better of him further away from the group. Owen Lloyd here right behind him, one of the young hot shots pushing him along there is Braden Zerves in the 509. Ian Quinn. And then a gap away. This will be 3 laps complete here this time. Christopher McKeithen has led them all. Dylan Amundsen and No Rush back in second. There you see, top of the screen. Got to go way back for the next move. Kyle Wick's trying to make up for lost time. He's back in 19th. Found his teammate there in Jake Sessler trying to charge back towards the main group. Here's Atwood's pack leading them through. There's Wick right in the middle. And going back to the middle of this pack, there's Josie Chambers on the Intrepid, the 42 with Jake Sessler. And he is right behind Lucas Theck, who has not had the best of starts, the 52, 22nd right now. His teammates, quite a few of them, make up the rest of the pack in front of him. Here is the number 200 ahead of Wick, that is Levi Getz. There's a move by Chambers on Sessler, over underdone. You'll see that quite a bit this weekend with crossovers being very successful in a momentum-based racing division like Briggs 206. You have to be really precise with those passes or you'll end up breaking momentum enough that you will lose more than what you ever could have gained, and then some. Still though, this pack, perfect display of teamwork and patience. Dylan Amundsen, James Overbeck, Christopher McKeith, and Eli Fox, Cale Zimmerman. The downside is too many of them are doing it, and the accordion effect of having to brake earlier to not run over the guy in front of you has allowed Adam Brickley and Kelvin Zing to latch on. At halfway, it was 4 or 5 in the lead group, depending how you sliced it. You could almost mark it officially at 7 now here, Justin, with 4 laps still to go.
Yeah, that was the point I was trying to make earlier on, was they were trying to just continue to work together to close up the gap with how much draft section there is. Right now, just working together very well. Zing is still keeping on the back end of Brickley. No one else taking some swaps at all yet. Everyone in a good spot, comfortable where they're running with their respective dance partners seems to be the case. You'd have to think eventually, though, Overbeck going to have to force the issue if he wants to make it a 1-2 with his teammate at least, to be able to dictate and control this pack. You say the same thing about Eli Fox, though, a chance to be able to leapfrog past Overbeck, work with a teammate there. There's a swap now in the pack by Fox, and there they go. Now they have a chance to line up, see if they can work to see if they can get by McKeithen, or we'll see if they're content on the position. We'll have to see what route they go in the MGM cards.
That's right. Teammates now second and third. There's that next group trying to hunt them on down. A big gap back from Braden Zerves as he takes a look over the shoulder until he'll find the the 922 of David Baker. And look at this scrum back here. 3 and 4 wide action. That's Jake Sessler on the inside leading to Marinello through, and we're going to have a spinner. Big spin. That is the 35. One of the Coyote PPKs going around. No, the 39, Austin Hill for the Precision Performance Karting Group. They'll lose one down at turn number 1, still with plenty of red and black logos full-time inside the top 10 there with your leader as well included in that, Christopher McKeithen. This is the middle of the overall 50. This is back here in the high teens, pushing the 20s. Is that Ryan Mort, I think, making up a ton of spots, but then he'll get a little contact and go wide on the MPG KR 2x2 coming out of the cell tower. As we check in there with the Wicked Racing GFC combination, Kyle Wick, Jake Sessler finally away from it. Scott Clayman, the 92, was in the top 10 early, has dropped back, and now you can see he's a full straightaways length away from the leading group of 5. They are still waiting behind Christopher McKeithen. Dylan Amundsen in no rush right now to go to the lead. I don't know if he's going to even force the issue on the final 2 laps, knowing that this is a long game and that he has been a part of many big-time finishes and CKNA national-level wins in his career. The 136, Eli Fox there in the 416 or 418. Overbeck still in 4th, Zimmerman still 5th, and the 3-pack behind him is the likes of Brickley, Zing, and Lawler. They're going to defend a little bit down the horseshoe, and look who's bearing down behind this group of 3. Didn't take him too long, even with a very tame lead group. Owen Lloyd and the all red and black MGM's in the top 10, and now he's at the back of that second group of 3 to make it 4. Pulled away, all on merit from Ian Quinn there in 10th spot, and Zerves and Aiden Lorenko.
Yeah, it looks like Amundsen, though, trying some different lines, trying to diamond the line to see if he can get a good exit with the grip. Now,
well, it's McKeithen. It's really McKeithen kicking it off. He's starting to defend. I don't think Amundsen was really wanting to do anything different there, Justin. Christopher McKeithen into that green corner and here in the infield. And now in the shark fin, starting to go low on entry to cover off any potential idea that Dylan Amundsen may have to go to the lead. He looked back. You saw Eli Fox point at him, say, go forward. I'm with you, brother. Let's see it. White flag in the air. McKeithen all the way down to the low side, down to turn 1. 1 to go here in Heat 1 for senior groups A and D.
Yeah, still right now McKeithen going to have to be careful with how defensive he gets here. All right, clip the curbing, trying to go so low through some of the first of the 90s. Now, where will the run come if Amundsen's able to poke his way through? Again, McKeithen to the middle of the racetrack, trying to hug every single apex right now. Not a chance. One driver in the back goes way into the pack again.
Kelvin Zing off, and he'll take 2 more as he rejoins. That looked to be maybe Zerves that got knocked wide, or Lorenko and David Baker. Meanwhile, change in the middle. Overbeck fighting back and forth with Zimmerman for 4th. And that will allow the top 3 to get away. Now McKeithen's outnumbered 2-1. Amundsen's got help with Eli Fox. If he can find a gap, I think he may wait all the way to the main straightaway. If Christopher McKeithen doesn't force him to go side by side with a fellow MGM beforehand, continuing to cover the break zones and the passing opportunities at every major 180. He'll do it one more time into the shark fin. This will set up a big drag race. Amundsen's going to try and back off right here, tune up for a big run down the straight. He's going to have plenty of help. No more PPK Coyotes near McKeithen to the line. It won't be enough. Maybe it will. It'll be close. Not quite. Amundsen can't get there. McKeithen, Heat 1 winner over Eli Fox. Zimmerman gets one over on Overbeck on that final lap there. He'll take 4th away. Brickley, Zerves. Zerves did survive. It was Lorenko that kind of got tagged in the side along with David Baker as Kelvin Zing rejoined. They're going to end up down in the early teens. 13th across the line for Baker provisionally. 15th across the line for Aiden Lorenko. And you see the black and checkers waving there for Mr. Jason Burgess on the front straightaway. It was clean up front. It was not pretty in the middle of the field. A frenzy for sure that has set the tone for senior medium. But as they have stacked up now, Christopher McKeithen your Heat 1 winner over Groups A and D. Amundsen, Eli Fox, Zimmerman, Overbeck, Quinn, Brickley, Zerbs, Zing, and Will Lawler, your top 10. David Barnes, Brady Atwood with a little bit of a charge through the pack to get there. Owen Lloyd, man, was he moving, only to end up getting shuffled right back down to 14th. Kyle Wick and Jake Sessler, we caught up with their race a little bit, along with Josie Chambers just outside the top 15. It will be a net gain for them. And onwards down to a handful of drivers that have faded or had an issue in the opening couple of laps, like Cade Yeager. Let's go down to Caleb.
Thank you, Xander. Work our way back here with Dylan Amundsen. Work our way through here, boys. I know you guys are debriefing the race. Dylan, talk about it. The last couple laps got close. Obviously, Christopher defending in those last couple. But talk about, Heat 1 here at the Grand Nationals.
I think it's more important for Heat 1 just stay clean. Try to just get the first heat out of the way. Everyone's all anxious to race. So, I just tried to play it safe the entire race.
You feel like, we kind of see that type of racing because we've been waiting around for so long, almost all weekend to get to this point?
Right. Yeah, it's just this is first heat race. It's always crazy on the first one. So we took it easy on this one, and hopefully next one I'll get it.
Thank you, Dylan. Christopher, we'll talk to you here real quick as well. Talk about that race. Perfect start for you guys with PPK. James put it on the pole, but you, perfect start with the first heat race, heat win of the day, if you will.
Yeah, it was a good race. I led every lap, and last couple laps I had to defend a little bit. I looked back, I think 3 to go coming out of the Monza, the shark fin, and I saw about a line of 8 carts, I think. And I was like, I kind of just got to play a little bit of defense here. Once we got to a lap and a half to go, I defended in the scoreboard, and then I was able to just run the bottom.
Well, there you go, Christopher. Thank you. We'll let you guys roll through skills as well, but Heat 2 coming up.
Christopher McKeithen wins out in the first half of senior medium. The second half have been released onto the racetrack now. Groups B and C ready for action in the Mark Steele Motorsports sponsored category. Eli Warren, local kid done good, will get ready to lead your field of green here alongside Reagan Seville. Christopher Wakefield and Mitchell Morrow will make up row number 2. Owen McCarthy, Nick Sobiek back on row number 3.
Then it's Henry Wheeler, and Peyton Worm looks to worm his way on through for the 8th spot. John Antonino starts off in 9th. Shane Reddy in the 10th position. Then you have Gabe Sessler in the 41. Jerry Fandry rounds out your top 12 starting positions in the 77.
Yeah, moving on from the Vander Daniels Racing TBE car there, Gabe Sessler hoping to make the same kind of moves forward as well as his brother Jake did, and teammate Kyle Wick, and another young driver, now a veteran, now a team owner or co-owner, if you will. Reed Motorsports CRG Cameron Reed, the racing Cajun, starts alongside Jackson Young back there just outside the top 10. She was our winner at the Briggs Out of the Box Challenge in 2024. She'll be hoping to try to take that momentum that won her that race to get towards the front of the field in senior medium and set herself up along with the rest of the pack for potentially a shot at a grand final trophy on Sunday. Eli Warren's in the all-black stealth mode Mark Steele Motorsports machine with the red helmet. On the left there, Reagan Seville on the GFC with Trackside Karting Services. And 2 drivers that know exactly how to go to victory lane in 206 senior action are ready to bring the action here for Heat 1 in Groups B and C. And it is a great green flag. Good start down to turn 1. They'll rumble right through, still 2 by 2, as if they were starting the race through the 90s. Side by side, 2 wide, nearly 3 wide further back. Seville's going to win out with momentum from the outside lane. Warren to second, and as they go to the horseshoe, this is where things got out of shape last time. Fandry's going to be the first one kind of knocked off the racetrack a little bit. He'll lose about 8 or 10 spots, and the rest of the field files their way around him. Still 2 wide, nearly 3 wide out of the cell tower further back. But your leaders at least have gotten situated here, Justin. It is Reagan Seville in the all black and white machine. Great start for Christopher Wakefield up to 3rd, it looks like. Mitchell Morrow there in the 4th spot, and Nick Sobiek, who started 5th on the VLR, is under pressure there in the infield. Looks like he might have lost 1, and that was to none other than McCarthy, I believe, on the Prime Power Team Beryl Art.
Yeah, keep in mind as well, some contact back in the background, at least 3, 4, 5 off, and this is trouble. 1 cart is vibrating.
Yeah, that is a big, big issue. That looks like the 317 off to the side. The driver turned around in front of everyone, Austin Olds, as we get a change for the lead. Eli Warren goes to the front down in turn number 1. Who all did we lose in that one? A lot of big names it looked like with how high up it was on the field. So big contact early here in senior medium heat number 2 on the day. It is Eli Warren, your leader, over Wakefield, and our original leader from lap 1, Reagan Seville, has fallen all the way down to the 4th spot. But in that big amount of contact on the opening lap, we only had 45 cross the timing loop. Side by side, Wakefield now your new leader. Alongside each other there for second with momentum for Eli Warren. He'll get back around and to the outside to get to third. Reagan Seville with a heads-up move. Look who else has joined. There's a couple of blue machines. One of the VLRs there is Sobiek, and one of the MGMs has joined. It looks like Peyton Worm. And who else did we lose from that contact? Well, again, Austin Olds was the 45th man across the line, and we're trying to figure out who else we may have lost in it, because there are a few extra names that were just on track in the A and D group, but only 45 to the timing loop at the end of lap 1. Chaos striking in the shark fin, and look who's on the move. The one plate in the bright yellow VLR for TS Racing. Colin Warren will pick up another one. No issue for him to get to the lead pack here in this heat race.
Already into the top 10 just like that, able to slice his way through the chaos, avoided all the contact when those carts started to slip up there. Notice Warren immediately went on attack mode in the first place, and right now it's your fastest car on the racetrack with the last time by in the fastest lap of the race. Some more battling on behind him as well. John Anthony Alonso's bump darting out, but up front, Wakefield still trying to hold things tight as they continue to swap around a little bit. Warren now having to work with the 422, a painted Warren to close up. More back and forth. Eli Warren wants his lead back, takes it back.
He'll have no issue staying at the front of this pack. He wants to lead. Unfortunately, so does Christopher Wakefield. Reagan Seville will follow this time to get up to second. And then looking like Mitchell Morrow back there in the 4th spot, continuing to watch there. The leader of a heavy Canadian top 10, Morrow, and then Owen McCarthy. Nick Sobiek still in the 6th spot. Peyton Worm, Jackson Young, Colin Warren. Let's see if Warren pulls out again. He does, looking on Sobiek down at turn 1, and I think Nick's going to let him go. And the Chassis Brand Alliance flips the order there for 6th. Colin Warren making quick work of the field here in his opening heat race. And again, this will be where he'll start for his second one. So just like that confidence that he had with Caleb Viesca before this heat race, obviously not misplaced, Justin.
Not at all, with the way things are going, just slicing through these carts like butter. You know, who's also been able to slice their way on through. Well, passes like that by Warren opening things up, but also falling through his Worm. Worm doing a good job falling on through, falling and opening up the holes as they come up to the green corner this time through, trying to march their way on through and follow the line. The top thing is getting the preferred groove, and that didn't work out for Worm, losing spots to Antonino in particular, now having to fight just to hold on to the top 10 as they still squabble. Those race leaders have made it clear, though, they don't want to work together, and Warren might be able to really take advantage, Colin Warren specifically, of all of this to be able to try and scrap and pass by these carts as they fight for the next half of the race.
First heat race saw the lead hardly change at all from the moment we dropped the green flag, and it stayed stagnant when we saw this, the halfway signal. That's not been the case here for group number 2, B and C. We have had at least 5, if not 7, official lead changes with the pass being fully completed for more than a couple turns. Look at the positions up and down. Again, Warren up a ton. Jackson Young is also up a handful as well. But then some of the drivers involved in the incidents early. Mason Kuhn looked like he was one of them. Obviously, we covered Austin Olds. Here's another pass for the lead as it continues. Reagan Seville now going back to the point. John Antonino Jr., buddy, back in the 6th spot now in the 93s, made a quiet cut up the top 10. That's that red, black, and white MPG Kart Republic in 6th, leading the second group. They're about to get back up to the lead group here with another lead change, and we'll change it right back. Seville will not be denied. This time, in the next opportunity, he takes back that top spot from Wakefield, and Colin Warren now having picked his way up to the 4th spot. How long will it take him to go to the lead? I think he will start to probably pump the brakes a bit and use some patience here because he's got a lot of aggression around him, and you can see Jason Burgess pointing the furl black at about everyone in the main group saying, hey, use your head, boys and girls, because we've got now a lot of them. This train is only about 3 seconds for the whole top 16 back to Canada's John Treadwell.
Hey, at least that's the be nice sign that we
Yeah.
see at some of the air tracks. But hey, you just don't have Wakefield sending it in deep. Some contact Morrow trying to send it on the outside now. Eli Warren opens up the door 2 by 2. They work their way.
Look at the nose cone as well on Reagan Seville when things calm down for a second. The GoPro camera mount, the onboard camera for Reagan, has started to work its way downwards. And if that falls off, that would be a DQ. That would be tremendous. A huge blow to the hopes of the young Texan getting a Grand Finals Senior Medium trophy on Sunday. But as he retakes the lead, it's hanging on for now. Wakefield second, Warren third, Morrow fourth. Here's Warren, Colin Warren, that is. No relation to Eli there in third, but the bright yellow fella in fifth is looking, but still unsuccessful to break into the top 3, and will only have 3 laps remaining. No, 2 laps remaining indeed this time. 6 down. Here comes Wakefield all the way by the grass to fight for the lead with Seville. They'll make contact, and Reagan will hold on.
Seville's doing a really good job defensively to be able to hold on with all these dives and all these attempts time in and time out right now. He's been able to withstand potential contact, now going full defensive, all while Colin Warren goes full aggressive to jump up to 4th. Some bold passing attempts going on in the background as contact.
Peyton Worm, the 422, just barely got back into frame, and right as he did, had a send and a half there in the horseshoe. Meanwhile, new leader, Eli Warren as well, able to get the crossover on Reagan coming out of the cell tower hairpin. He takes over into the green corner with Wakefield in tow, and Seville drops back to third, but they've got room to try and open up their hands on the entry to these corners here if they want to, because fourth has majorly lost ground to the top contingent.
Colin Warren, who was the R driver involved in the contact there, has problems, so dropped all the way down the running order outside the top 15 from it, so has just plummeted. As a result of the contact, it's now just the 3 karts ready to battle it on out, already to the inside to defend Eli Warren. Wakefield nearly into the grass again.
Big time moment here for Christopher Wakefield, trying to look for any possible way to get to the lead here in heat number 1, B and C, as the double white flag is now out. Eli Warren now through the 90s has gotten away a little bit. Wakefield wants some help from Seville. He's going to get it down the horseshoe. John Antonino further back, making a pass there on Jackson Young, one of the newest PPK Coyotes. How about Chase Jones, by the way, folks, one of the veterans in the field on the MPG Kart Republic, joining the fray. He, along with Henry Wheeler, last year's runner-up in senior medium, shaking hands with Colin Warren at the finish, right at the back of the lead group, right where they need to be here, and we go 3 wide for the lead. Big time set for Wakefield. It won't pay off. Warren holds into the infield, final time as they go down.
And right now, Eli Warren's going to have to be careful to be able to defend once again. Continuously, bold, aggressive moves that come into play. We've seen drag races be huge down that front stretch. Looks like the chance is coming on for the drag race for Seville.
Here we go. Final run to the line. Eli Warren leads the way. Black and checkers undoubtedly going to come out. Seville's going to pull out to go side by side. He might get the better of him at the line. He'll come up just short. Eli Warren holds. Heat 1, B and C goes the way of the 97. Seville 300 shy. Morrow, Wakefield, Chase Jones cracks the top 5 from 13th. And a slow charge for him ends up a little better than Colin Warren, who after all of that hard work to climb up the leaderboard is going to slip well down with a DNF in heat number 1 for last year's Grand National champion. 43rd will be the official score for Colin Warren as the checkered flag comes out now. Up at the front, though, that makes it Henry Wheeler in the 0 in 6th, Antonino 7th. Jerry Fandry recovers from that first lap moment there to get to 8th here. Solid result for him. Jackson Young in 9th. Nick Sobiek there 10th. Treadwell able to pick up a few more from when we first mentioned him back in 16th. Jordan Klein in 12th. Gabe Sessler 13th. Owen McCarthy spent a lot of this race in that main group. He fades to 14th just ahead of Shane Reddy in the 524. And then here's your middle of the pack. Still a lot of big names there and a lot more to break down. Opening heat race, though, goes the way of Eli Warren, the Louisville, Kentucky native, is victorious here and in the scales with Caleb.
Thank you, Xander. Yeah, Eli, I think this is one of the best starts that you've had in the Grands for quite some time. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, on it, we weren't that fast yesterday. We had 2 good sessions, 2 bad sessions. We were like 7/10 off in the last one in medium, and we changed the axle. We have Jimmy Simpson tuning for us today. Fortunately, he can't be here the rest of the weekend, but it's been a big help. Qualifying, happy hour, we didn't go out on slicks or on new tires, so we were kind of like, I think we were like 17th in happy hour, and that allowed me to get a really good lap in qualifying. And then, I mean, we have really good pace. It's just like it was a race. It's a Briggs, you know. It's just gonna be a race like that the whole time. I had moments where I kind of just was stupid. You know, I fell back to 5th at one point, but then I got 2 good over-unders. I was able to come home with the win. Yeah, now we'll focus towards light. We'll see how that goes. We're probably faster in medium than light, so we got some work to do. But yeah, Mark Steele's been a big help. Gary Lawson's been a big help. Everybody that supports me, it's been a big help. It's one of the hardest races to win, in my opinion. There's 100-something karts, and we just won the first heat. So, you know, we're tracking good right now. We got a long way to go, though. I mean, you could probably start 30th in the feature and win, but we're definitely on. It's going good for us.
There you go, Eli. Thank you. And there you have it. Eli Warren, Heat 1 race winner in senior medium.
We'll take a quick break, folks. There's more where that came from. Only 3 heat races so far in the books, and a lot more are on tap from CKNA Grand Nationals 9, presented by Toyota Racing and Odenthal Racing Products. We'll see you on the other side of this break here with more as Masters, Kid Kart, and Sportsman are all on tap here for the end of the morning rotation.
Florida kart racers, you asked for it, and we're going to bring it. Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure of the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspect with mindset, racecraft, and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Paulie Massimino wins in KA. Paulie Massimino is a winner in OKN Stars.
Take your driving to the next level with one-on-one coaching from 2024 OKN Stars champion Paulie Massimino. Kart rental options are available if you'd like to keep yours at home, and drivers in all classes are welcome, from Briggs 206 to Mini to K100 and X30. With in-depth data analysis, onboard video footage review, and lead follow on-track sessions, each private coaching session will see you end as a more complete driver than when you started. Book your coaching session now.
As you can see, the front straightaway starting to clear. Kit Kart getting set to go green for their first heat race on the weekend. They'll run the shortened layout. It'll be the 93 starting on the pole for heat number 1 for the Kit Karts. They'll get 8 laps on their short course. And it looks like we should be good enough to give the young superstars the green here. They'll do a standing start or a, well, standing and a 33-second pace lap. But we're up and away. Green flag from Jason. And our first Kit Kart race of the weekend is green. Mateo Romeo on the LGK leads them through turns 1, 2, and 3. And a good start for Maverick Reddick will bring him right up to second. And we're off to the races here for 8 laps in Kit Kart. Healthy turnout for them. They're capped at 30. They're nearly at the cap. All kids here on track between the ages of 5 and 8 years old. The beginning of their motorsports journey now. You can hear the parents from the hill behind the camera as well. Great start for Mateo. Maverick up to second. Let's see where the rest of them file out as they hit the timing loop for the first time. And we clear the rest of the racetrack to be down to officials only. First lap in the books. Mateo leads down to turn number 1. And it is a good start for William Heckman to third. Maddox Knives to fourth. Arya Denehauer rounding your top 5. And in total, all 24, 25 will make it across for the first lap back to Jude Boss and Millie Clements. 25 Kit Karts is an awesome turnout here, Justin. So much fun to see them all getting their first taste of a major race weekend like this.
Absolutely, and a great opportunity for them to develop as drivers, be able to build connections for the future, and be able to see where they stack up in general as competitors. Keep in mind, a lot of the drivers we see in this field are some of the best when it comes to the regional areas, like Texas we've seen in the case of Baker and Reddick. Romeo was amongst those with the Canadian side that did well in Kart Stars recently. What was crazy is there with Denehauer a part of that field. So it's a great homogenization of the pack to see where you stack up in your overall development and have some fun.
Yeah, this is a blast. This event is so much fun, and the Kit Karters, they get the rest of the afternoon to play and run off any more energy that they may still have for their back on track tomorrow. Little bit of a gap for Mateo out in front. Maverick in second. William Heckman in third. Maddox Knives in fourth. This is 5th and 6th that we were following there. Arya Denehauer and Wyatt Barrelsman. Here's 7th and 8th having a little battle of their own. That is Vettel Baker. Sophia Mendoza right in front of Vettel. And then Tony Beam and Will Holzmer. Your top 10, that's this 4 group right here, all the way to JJ DeShong in the 77s, about 2 seconds away. So this little pack, 7th through 10th. Sophia in the blue and white Ricardo car. Vettel in the 22 for MSL Racing CRG. Side by side there. They're all still just learning the basics of the track, much less as well the fundamentals of the sport. So many kids have had maybe less than 6 months of knowing which pedal makes them go fast, Justin. Much less how to try and be the best in the youngest division on the nation's biggest driver turnout event of the year. Halfway in for their first heat race of the weekend from Jason. Look at this. Vettel's going to look for 7th again on Sophia. Right behind as well. They were looking to go side by side between Tony and Will. It won't be there right at turn 1. Sophia shuts the door.
That really checked up Baker off the throttle almost. Remember, these kind of carts usually is just about full throttle when it comes to your ability to drive the Kit Karts. Baker took a lot of pressure. Beam slid with an aggressive dive. Able to move up to the 8th position. So Beam able to take the spot in the Sodi kart.
They're having a good little pack now, but it's been split apart further away. See 2 more carts trying to close on up. Really 3 of them. JJ DeShong, Aubrey Babcock, Mason Poole. Let's check in with this group here. That's the 099 of Aubrey. Mason there in the 98. They'll go side by side down the main straightaway. Mason sporting one of the new MGM Kit Karts. Paul and April Rice, they have been ecstatic about this event being a big debut for some of the Cadet chassis and Kit Kart chassis that they've been working on. And the 98 shining bright there in the blue and green MGM colors. A little bit of a gap to the next couple, Brianna Shepker and Cole Piccioni, then Grayson Miller. Your leaders are going to be catching up to lap traffic here sooner rather than later. I think they may get to them before the end of this heat race. Even Millie Clements and Jude Boss Unfortunately for Millie and Jude, they're about 30 seconds away from the 2 seconds, now 2.5 out in front gap that Mateo Romeo has over Maverick Reddick with 2 laps to go. So we're right around the middle of the field, and I think your leader's already probably towards the shark fin at this point. There is going to be Mateo on the LGK chassis in the white helmet, and you can see he is closing in. You can hear the engines down right below the camera stand from the back of the pack. So Mateo Romeo doing a great job leading the way. He'll hit the white flag this time. One more lap around. Behind him there, you can see the black and orange CRG for Maverick Reddick. William Heckman there in third. Fourth and fifth are still relatively close. Maddox Knives and Arya Denehauer. But a huge lead, full main straightaway distance for Mateo Romeo here in heat number 1. And yes, Justin, like you said, they'll be on the gas for the most part around this layout with the low rev limiter and the throttle limit on the Brakes 206 Kit Kart version. But that doesn't mean that there isn't some ability for the driver to make a difference. Mateo's doing a great job using all the track, going end to end on these back and forth sections, especially this quick final sector. And while it is a long straightaway, he'll get right up to the back of the field. That's Millie Clements down there in the blue and yellow tail end. But at the front end, Mateo Romeo will lead all the laps for heat number 1 in Kit Kart over Maverick in second, William in third, Maddox in fourth, Arya in fifth, Tony Beam, Wyatt Barrelsman. They were at the front of this group. Look at the frenzy coming to the line. Will it change at all in the main pack? It'll be a change for Vettel Baker. He'll finally get the pass done on Sophia for the 8th spot. JJ DeShong will round your top 10. You can hear the cheers of the parents on the fence line as the final group here begins to make their way down that main straight and put the first heat in the books. Best news of it all, Justin, looks like all 25 will run all the laps and make it to the checkered flag all the way back there to Millie Clements in the 78. So Mateo Romeo, Kit Kart Heat 1 winner here from Newcastle for the CKNA Grand Nationals. Maverick Reddick, William Heckman, Maddox Knives, and Arya Denehauer, your top 5. And we've got 2 more heats to go here in the afternoon rotation. The Masters on tap, one of our elder statesman divisions, following up our youngest class. So Motorsports future, and you can't really say Motorsports present because they're still out there racing.
Yes.
But they're coming up here next.
Yeah, and it should be some good racing to say the very least for those coming up next. Did you just call me old there previously?
I didn't call. What are you talking about? Caleb is putting all
joking.
kinds of ideas in your head here. Listen, I would never call you old because I get called old way too much. And guess what? I'm still not Masters eligible yet, so we'll wait on that. On the other hand, we have to be careful with our jokes here because, you know, while old age might be one thing, I don't know, our production booth, we want to make sure they know everything we're talking about, right? We don't want to have it go over their heads, you know?
Yes.
All the way back there. Other side of the wall.
Yes, we'll say I'm excited to see how the racing fares out. I was trying
That's
to make
simple enough. I think they can understand that.
Yeah, I was trying to make the joke there. But I was going to say, with the battling here today, we'll see how the Masters are able to fare out because the Masters had
You would expect some more tameness out of the Masters. You would
Yes.
expect all the years of racing for them to know that it's a long weekend. This is just the start. This is just about picking up a few points. And again, I like to compare it to a 3-race mini championship. You're points racing here. This isn't a playoff. If you want to call it a playoff, we got a playoff for the grand final win on Sunday. To get there, to get a good spot to fight from on that afternoon or morning, depending on when you're going to hit the racetrack, starts with playing it calm and patient and conservative, honestly, in the heat races. Will that be the case or not? We're about to find out here for the Masters drivers. They've been released onto the racetrack now. Here's a look at them. Chris Carroll and Jamie Bradford are getting ready to lead your field to green. And for the most part, it looks like we've gotten them all safely out of the grid. Jeff Dullian and Eric Fagan making up row number 2, and the names go on and on from there of former CKNA and overall 4-stroke history racing winners with Sean Meyer and AJ Carlotta on row 3.
Mark Steele up in the 7th position. Ryan Cassidy, when he is driver in many cases, you could argue 53 machine in 8th position. Casey was starting off a nice. Scott Falcone looking to see if he'll soar from 10th. Todd Barron and Eric Lassard amongst your top 12 in this order.
Moving back, row 7, David Galonia is one of the drivers we're used to seeing in KA Masters when the Stars or the SCUSA Pro Tour, the U.S. Pro Kart Series come to town. He's got a Briggs 206 strapped on his Bureau Art to the inside of John Price, a veteran and regular at CKNA National Tour competition. Corey Walsh, Amber Flint, Ryan Curtin, Scott Hamble, Brad Davis, and J.D. Gunn, your first page of Masters drivers. There are plenty more where that came from, though, as they begin to make their way to the I-70 corner for the end of the outlap. Jeff Scott starting 21st. Ellie Yanko, the Canadian's got a lot of work to do down from 40th. And there's some other big names kind of throughout this second page of the Masters class. In total, for Masters, we're at 42. Final row will be Mike Dittmer and Rod Clenard, a couple of former national champions in Masters competition. Clenard with more of a shifter background as of late. He's having some fun, hopefully, over the course of the next 8 laps, because it probably wasn't that fun to have to start here at the tail of the field. You can see him there in the black and orange CRG, and then the inside Mike Dittmer's a name many will recognize, so he'll also be one to watch, to potentially be on the move to join the front row. Chris Carroll in the black, blue, and white, known as the Coyote Kid. He's far from a kid now. He's got kids of his own, and they're watching Dad lead the field to green for Masters opening heat race here from CKNA Grands number 9. The rumble looks good here through the opening couple 90s. Carroll with the lead. Bradford quickly sliding down to second. One driver off there at turn number 4. Dropped a tire on the entry and went straight at the camera spot and the scale line. Hopefully they were able to keep it back onto the circuit, not go too high up the berm. And we go side by side for 5th. Now for 3rd as well. I thought for a moment the top 4 were going to break away, and in one pass it gets a little bit disconnected. Now down to pairs of 2. That was the 031. Jeff Dolian making the move on the 1 of Eric Fagan. Fagan will go back down the inside, and the Tony Kart goes back to P3. Next group there, the blue, white, and red PPK Coyote, I believe, is going to be Sean Meyer, or at least in coordination with one of the major Coyote teams. The longtime Coyote Motorsports driver in Sean Meyer, and longtime Barrel Art driver, so long he's got his own go-kart brand now. Mark Steele there in the stealth mode. Steele Motorsports 34, P6 at the end of the opening lap. And there's Ryan Cassidy in the 53, who was our Legends winner from last year. Penalty flag coming out already. One driver getting the warning or potentially a penalty where they could drop further down the field. That's been a big talking point in CKNA competition. We'll get to later in this race if it stays as calm as it looks like it's shaping up to be, Justin, is how active the officials have been, and the fact that your actions, they will carry over event to event over a 12-month window. But let's keep it tabbed in on the top 10 for now in case anything else shifts here. Sean Meyer on the move, closing up. It's going to be about maybe 8 deep now from 3rd on back. Eric Fagan trying to lead them back to your top 2.
Trying to fight hard to do that, and to loop back very quickly to the penalty point marker, they do actually have, from what I've seen in the skills line, one of those penalty boards set up to be able to keep track of that live point system to see where you stack up as you go if there was any penalties, so you don't have any surprises in that regard. So they do have that technology down there to make sure drivers know once they get out of the kart, oh hey, this is the situation. But for now, all you can do is focus on the drive, focus on the run, see if you can close up for as many spots as possible, because right now Carroll and Bradford are doing a good job breaking away, all while no one else seems to be able to get enough pull here, even with the draft, to try and make a pass in the 90s yet.
Now again, that flag there displayed again on the front stretch by head flagman Jason Burgess, that is letting the driver know that they have been given a penalty and they have the option to give up the number of spots that the penalty would have been added on to their final result to see if they can fight back from it if they choose to. If they do so as well, it used to negate the penalty altogether and you would get 0 penalty points on your CKNA license. It will now, this weekend, be half the points. You'll still get a bit of a ding on the penalty point system. It won't be as bad, though, as if it were fully applied post-race. Here's a move for 2nd, though. Back to the on-track action right now. Eric Fagan wanting to split up Jamie Bradford and Chris Carroll and get to the lead. He'll try again. 2nd time is good. Move the one plate up to P2. Jeff Dolian looking behind on now a fellow MGM as Jamie Bradford slips back to 3rd. And with that move, We've connected the full top 9 back to Carlotta, and then Eric Lassard, sorry, in the 816 is not terribly far away there. He's, I believe, in the red suit at the back of this train. So a lap in the books again with Chris Carroll up front, but it may not last too long. Eric Fagan, I think, is going to keep the momentum rolling.
Yeah, has been just picking up spots one by one so far. Fagan started this race off at the 4th spot. Remember, just has been efficient on his moves, just picking the right spots, not costing himself too much time with said moves, and now is just in the right spot to be able to pounce. Amongst the drivers we've seen run at tracks like Whiteland over the years, for example, in some of their money races a fair bit in general. Now, some of the drivers battle themselves out in the middle of the pack.
That was Sean Meyer, former CKNA Spring Nats winner, as Eric Fagan goes to the point here in the green turn. New leader, first lead change of the Masters opening heat race. Took them a whole lot longer than that last senior medium heat race, Justin.
Yeah, it took a lot of time for some of the drivers, but this race has gone to where it takes some time open contact.
Yeah,
Carroll,
it was a slow burn. It's not anymore. It's a frenzy here. Carroll, Bradford, little incidental contact in the shark fin, all good. Furl black flag going to one driver in the middle of that main group. Might have been all of them. Single file. Carroll now leads them. Fagan with a big gap. This pack now is going to include Jeff Dalian, who slipped to the 10th spot, so 10 deep. Corey Walsh leads the next group back in 11th. He's up 4. And from deep in the field, up 7, Ronald Swift. David Galonia's trying to rebound back. Terrible start for the 291. Trying to figure out who he lost. I think it might have been John Price on that opening lap. The 44 started 14th. He's down in the 40s right now, or the high 30s. So way back for John Price. 42 drivers started, 41 though still running. Back to Chris Osgood. We lost Scott Hamble on the second lap. And Eric Fagan's lead's evaporated. Hasn't taken long at all, about 3/4 of a lap. Chris Carroll's led them right back to the bumper of the number 1. He will not make a move, though, in the infield hairpin. That pass, looking for a pass there anyway, will have to go pretty deep in this group. It's going to be one of the Intrepids. Don't know if that's Catalata on the 222. No, he's right behind. That is actually going to be Lassard going off to the grass on the 114, one of the stealth machines. Casey Stahl, actually. Casey Stahl, I believe, might have been the one off to the grass there in the shark fin.
Yep, it was, and that was with, I think, Catalata in regards to some of the side-by-side of the first place popping up there. So just some of the drivers already proving there, if you go side-by-side of that shark fin, it can force you off the track, force you into a situation where you're going to have to potentially lift and give up the spot. Right now for Carroll, though, doing a good job just waiting to see where's the right time to strike again. We've seen right now green corner all the way to scoreboard have been almost double passing chances with both those right-handers. Will we take a chance there if he gets another run, if he gets Bradford to help him enough?
Yeah, the green corner's tricky. He's going to try it here, though, and Eric Fagan doesn't want to give it up. They'll stay side by side to the kink, but that might hurt Eric even more because now that'll bottle them up all behind Carroll on the inside. Here's Bradford now alongside Fagan. He's now got Mark Steele looking for third. Mark's going to back out, and Fagan will race Bradford into the shark fin to hang on to P2. Jamie will slip back a little bit, and he'll drop to maybe 4th, maybe more. Sean Meyer doesn't want to let him in line. Neither does Ryan Cassidy. He'll follow them all through, and Bradford drops to the back of the main group. 2 to go. Chris Carroll to the lead. Fagan second. Mark Steele watching it all happen. Now finds himself in the 3rd spot with help from Sean Meyer and Ryan Cassidy to try to reel back in the top 2. The only 2 leaders so far on the day in Masters with 6 laps now logged have been 1st and 2nd, Chris Carroll and now Eric Fagan. Mark Steele trying to make it 3 different leaders at the most important lap, maybe the final 2 altogether as he closes up here with that next pack. And then you can see the midfield through the leaders battling and a few dropping off that main group. 8th on back, goes all the way about maybe 17th on the racetrack here. Ronald Swift and Amber Flint at the back of that group. So your leaders are single file for the moment. Here's that first pass at the front of that middle pack. AJ Catalata on Dalian for the 7th position. So 6 drivers in the main breakaway. Catalata moving back forward. Dalian back down 1. Eric Lassard, Casey Stahl, Corey Walsh, Todd Barron, Falcone, Galonius, Flint, and Swift 15th and 16th. Then there's a bit of a gap from them until you find Tim Shutt, who had to start 25th. He's picked up 8 spots to get to 17th. White flag, Chris Carroll, your leader in the 12.
And right now, Megan's trying to set him on up for another dive. We've already seen him pick his spots throughout this entire run. We know the green corner all the way to the scoreboard's been one of the most active spots for those passes, and it has been a place the one has made a move already in this race. Wouldn't be surprised if it happened again here. Carroll not taking any really defensive lines per se yet, but we do see Meyer making a move on Steele as well.
Sean Meyer in the number 30, now moving up to third. Steele trying to fight hard on the outside. He's outnumbered. The Coyotes 2-1. Cassidy's going to cut him a break, and he may pay the price for it as Jamie Bradford is going to slip back down the inside. No issues at all. Ryan playing the long game. He'll be happy to take a 6th, it looks like, from Heat 1. The leaders, on the other hand, are going to go tire to tire, wheel to wheel. Fagan to the point there on the inside. Eric Fagan, your new leader, with 2 turns to go. Tire to tire and side pod contact back for third, as well as Meyer and Steele are not done. Almost at the last turn. Looks like Mark will have that for now, but that'll give the opportunity for a side-by-side moment for Sean, and to the line for the lead and the win. It will go the way of Eric Fagan by inches. Chris Carroll kept it close, made it close at the last second, just didn't have enough at the end of the straightaway. Mark Steele third, Bradford fourth. Sean Meyer rounds the top 5. Cassidy, Catalata, Dalian, Lessard, and Casey Stahl. Your top 10 from Heat 1 for the Masters. Todd Barron gets himself back to neutral there in 11th. David Galonia, Corey Walsh, and crew. Amber Flint picks up a couple on that last lap. Scott Falcone fades down to 15th. And then you have a few of the movers that had to start further back. Tim Shutt picks up 8 positions to get to 17th. Ronald Swift up 6 to get to 16th. Jeff Scott, J.D. Gunn, Ryan Curtin, and of the 42 starters, we mentioned we lost Scott Hamble, 41 from earlier, all able to finish. Back to Chris Osgood and Ellie Yanko there in 40th and 41st.
I called that. Yeah. They didn't pick off, and it was bad at the end. Exactly. Good job, Reba. Same always love racing. Always. It's hard. It's always fun. We respect.
Work our way over here with Eric Fagan, and we'll give him a second as well to get his helmet off as they continue to debrief with Chris Carroll. But nonetheless, Eric, I'm going to interrupt you guys here real quick. Tell me about those last couple laps. It took you a while to get by Chris. Just tell me how difficult it was to finally make that move.
It was a battle, man. Nice, Mark. It was a battle, but I respect this guy and love racing with him, man.
And again, you've come close many times to the CKNA Grand Nationals. If not, correct me if I'm wrong, have you won the Grand Nationals before at this event?
Yeah, I've won it 3 times.
So again, you're starting off on the right foot, right? Winning a heat race this weekend. Tell me what it takes to get back there.
Just racecraft, man. I mean, a lot of these people have won Grand Nationals and stuff, so just takes a lot of racetrack and just, I don't know, man, just keep my head down and we'll see how it happens. Need some luck too, right?
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Eric. Wish him the best of luck as well as we get ready to go to our sportsmen who are getting ready to hit the racetrack.
Indeed, Eric Fagan, Chris Carroll, Ryan Cassidy. The names go on through that entire top 6 front to back of that group that have all stood on the top step of the podium at a major event in 4-stroke racing, a major event beyond that as well. And most importantly here, as Eric mentioned, a 3-time CKNA Grand Nats winner. He's done it in senior. He's done it in Masters, I believe, as well. And he's on track to try and get another and make it 4 here in this class with a heat race win. Sportsman drivers now going back down the age bracket. These are the 10 to 13-year-olds. So our third group up the ladder, it'll be Will Feitinger getting ready to lead your field to green alongside Jerome Wickham on row number 1. Brody McDonald will make up the inside of row 2 alongside the number 7 of R.J. Brown.
Then you also have Dominic Gaddis up at the front of the field. Lane Fitpen amongst the top 6. Ashton Wyatt starts off in the 7th position. You have Tanner Barge up in the 8th spot. McCluskey and Lawson, your top 10.
Chase Thixton starts alongside Kai Abalera on row number 6. Drew Blem and Olo Barr back on row 7. Ryan Hall and Daniel Dragunov back on row number 8. Henrique McKay and Ryder Thompson back on row 9. And Keegan Irwin and Danny O'Gara back on row number 10 for Top Kart USA in the number 67. Let's take a look further back here. How about Clayton Stiles, Connor Lipka back on row number 11, Braden Kraker and Kaysen Hendrickson on row number 12, Justin.
You also throw back there as well in the mix here. Bell, Lincoln Willie back down 26. On some of the drivers back there. Mikey Todd, Dean Saunders. You also have Brett Johnson, Logan Pollock, Harrison, Burt Lowe, and Kyle Cameron. Lincoln DeCoster along with Cole Decker. Blaine Gibbons among some of the drivers in the back of the field as they had to check on something with one of the carts at the front of the line. Looks like they now will double up.
Parker Firestein and Oliver Shahan will make up the final row. 38 in total for Sportsman. 8 laps, put it on the board, and indeed, we're going to check on one at the top. That'll wave off the first try at getting the kids underway for our last session of the morning rotation and early afternoon rotation as well. For those that are listening in here in the pits and watching along, of course, you can hear on the speakers as well as on 98.1 FM in your pit area, and of course on Kart Chasers' official YouTube channel for all of the coverage from CKNA Grand Nationals number 9 for all 3 days of activity. We'll have a short break in the action with the drivers meeting for the afternoon groups coming up after this race, and then we will take back to the racetrack with warm-ups for the afternoon groups, kicking things off with Junior at 3:20 p.m. local time. That's about 50 minutes away from now. It'll give a short break for the hardworking officials, Newcastle Motorsports Park track staff, and our fantastic production and camera crew. Well, boys production, they're all right, but our camera crew out there, they are troopers right now. They were out in the fog this morning, and they're out in the heat right now. I'm kidding. Our production guys, they are rock stars as well. They'll have plenty of angles cut up for us as well as potentially replays of anything else that we want a second look at, because this 38 driver field, we don't know what to predict from him. Will Feitinger on the black and red MPG machine getting ready to lead him to green. Problems, unfortunately, it's Lincoln Wiley in the 44 off to the side there. He will not get to join. We'll be down to 37. Those 37, though, look to be good in the tram lanes. Will they be nice enough and tidy enough for Jason Burgess to give them the all clear to go racing for the first time today? Yes, Sportsman is away for heat number 1. And they will make it all the way to turn number 4 unscathed, but your leader has lost the top spot. Feitinger going to lose out there as Jerome Wickham is able to make up a spot off of the 90s in the first sector and take over the lead. Following him through there, the number 7 in the bright yellow cart there, that's RJ Brown. Tanner Barsh completes the top 5 on the CRG. He got a little tripped up there in the middle. He looks to be okay, though. Further back, 2x2 action. Couple big names again trying to charge through the field. We'll keep tabs on them when they hit the line to see what the improvement is at the end of lap number 1. There's Feitinger on the inside in the green corner just trying to get back going again as this full 37 now Kart Sportsman field rockets to the infield. Here's a pass for the 139. That's inside the top 10, it looked like. That's Chase Thixton up a couple spots already. And your leader, Jerome Wickham, takes him out of the shark fin and over to the final turn.
Thixton was one of your fast drivers when it came to happy hour. A lot of race pace, I think, for Thixton, potentially to shock some people today in the Magic Kart for that machine. All of this as well, your top 3 trying to work the hour to break away a little bit. Already, though, Brown getting pushed, actually goes for the send as a result of that little bump from behind. The momentum gives RJ Brown the race lead. And we haven't seen too many passes in the first 3 corners so far today. That takes a lot of grip to be able to make sure you stick, and especially by 3 because of how you switch back for 4.
That puts the MPG duo together, well, for a moment. Right back to it down the inside there with a nice move for Feitinger. Now sends Wickham down to 3rd, side by side with our most recent podium and winner in Lady Thigpen. The Summer Nats winner in Sportsman under fire. She'll lose 1. Now 2 spots as Fast and Wyatt finds a way down the inside on the Nitro Kart. And ahead of them, there's still wheel-to-wheel Wickham versus Austin Taylor. Jerome will win that battle. Here's Tanner Barsh side by side, feeding a little wheel there. Elbow out to Chase Thixton. That'll drop him back down the end of the top 10. And it's going to give a big-time lead for RJ Brown and the number 7 out in front. And behind him now into P2 with a nice recovery to get back towards the front. Will Feitenjerk went back to 3rd earlier this lap. He'll only drop a net of 1 on the time charts. And here's his teammate looking for 3rd. Taylor to the inside, Wickham on the outside. He'll make that move stick, so will Aston Wyatt to take over 4th.
Yeah, these drivers not afraid to give a little bit of the elbow, give a little bit of the tire to try and lead some of their competitors, force them off the gas, put them on the curbing in most cases to lose them grip, because those rumble strips obviously don't carry as much grip at all compared to, say, the pavement. We're seeing that really bubble over for a lot of these battles. This top 2 has just been able to control things, with Gaddis just being able to ride and be patient. We'll say, though, Vice Chainer amongst those drivers still going to have to fight hard. Speaking of hard, Gaddis goes hard in the green corner, and yet again, green, it's good for passing.
Indeed, and if you can't get it done there, you can get it right here in the former scoreboard turn. The infield corner, number 13. Laney Thigpen making a move there, now side by side on the exit with Jerome Wickham. Still wheel to wheel to the shark fin. That's the one good part about that infield hairpin, is you can hang tight on the shark fin kink, because you'll have the inside in the corner, but if you can't get back to the inside by the last turn, you'll go way backwards. That's what's happening to Laney right now. Outside down the front straightaway, she'll quickly find a gap to get down to the bottom side, and look at the big time improvement. Daniel Dragunov started 16th, Justin. He's up to 5th.
Winner last year has been a contender all throughout the season with the Spring and Summer Nationals too. Shouldn't be surprised to see this speed for the 151. And he's even rocking the head saying, okay, let's go. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this momentum. As contact against several drivers go off coming out of turn 5.
Yeah, that pack got a bit too big, it looked like, and it just exploded. It looked like we were going to have maybe 10 or 12 karts here from 5th on back. Now it's down to maybe 7. Dragunov with Tanner Barsh right behind on the MSL Racing CRG. And then looking in, looks to be Brody McDonald on the Formula K. Little gap back from him. We'll find Hayden Lawson still going there on the Parolin. And all the way back to the 9th position now. Red flag coming out. Unfortunately, our first red flag of the weekend comes in the final session of the morning groups for Sportsman. They had just made it to halfway here, had gotten 4 laps complete. Dominic Gaddis leading over RJ Brown, and we come to a screeching halt. And I have to imagine, Justin, that may have been for the just off to the side of the camera moment there in the entry to the horseshoe at turn number 5.
Had to have been with the amount of karts that were starting to slide, it looked like back there. And at this point, the drivers just discussing what happened in terms of those who've seen that. At this point, it's just a matter of debriefing and seeing where you can go. Other drivers saying what could have been potentially for the run, hearing everybody is okay from that incident in 5.
Yeah, there you have it. At least all drivers quickly up and cleared. They're still going to check them all out and potentially have a couple say hi to the on-site medical team. But good to hear in the Prodigy Motorsports Sportsman class that while we have unfortunately brought them to a halt, all drivers are up and okay. Brings us to a pause in the final session of the morning rotation, folks. We'll take a quick commercial break, return with more information of what will be next up. It's still only the first half of the day for racing for the CKNA Grand Nationals, so don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
Gee, looks like we're missing an engine. What the hell am I supposed to tap?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You gotta make way. Okay, you're good.
Sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean,
You don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle.
How the did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You need it? We got it. At Kart Heat Parts, we are your complete online aftermarket kart part superstore. From chains to bearings to bumpers and components, we've got it in stock and ready to ship straight to your door from our base in Ontario, Canada. Check us out online at karteparts.ca.
You know, I'm really starting to like this go-karting thing. Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my god.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayCara.com. At ShopPayCara.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayCara.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal.
Sure does.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Good news, folks. If you wanted this race to continue, it will. We will be lining the field back up for a single file restart, trying to give everyone all the laps they wanted and signed up for. So Sportsman will have a 3-lap shootout to finish out the opening heat race. Good news for some of the drivers that had made up some spots already, like Daniel Dragunov from 16th on the grid to get to 5th by the end of lap number 4. Now with the leaders grouped back up, he was going to have to try and hunt down Dominic Gaddis and R.J. Brown. So a bit of bad news for those two out front. They had nearly a full second back to Will Feitinger and Faston Wyatt back at the line. And for some of the other drivers that started a little bit further in the field that maybe didn't get a good start to pick up lots of spots because realistically not a lot did outside of Dragunov, they'll get a reset right here with the entire pack lined up. So single file going back green for 3 laps here before we'll put a pause on heat racing activity until we get ready to turn the lights on here at Newcastle Motorsports Park. You see they have a ton of light towers they've had to bring in to light this 1.1 mile circuit up here at night. Tomorrow night we'll see the juniors get their try at the Briggs Out of the Box Challenge, a change up last year offered to the senior drivers, this year for juniors, and we've got 20 of them on the entry list. That'll be fun to watch, Justin. It's a special put on between CKNA and Briggs & Stratton a brand new motor for every entry. You get to keep it as well. And to set the lineup for their race, where they only have one practice session to learn an alternate track layout than what they've been racing on all weekend long, they get as much time or as little time as they want to take that motor straight out of the box, bolt it up on the go-kart, and you mark that you're finished by pulling the ripcord and firing it up. Once it fires up, that's when you've counted your time. So the first one to get the engine to fire on the go-kart, wheels spinning, chain stays on, at least on the kart stand, well, they get to start first in the race. And the latest one, the one that take their time to put the go-kart, put the engine on the go-kart, well, they will start at the rear. But saw last year some of the drivers that were the top starters because they rushed to get the engine bolted on, and then again, you're not able to touch it afterwards. Well, they didn't make it to the warm-up, and they may have had some issues in the races. So it's that catch-22 of how much time do you want to spend prepping the go-kart or building it, or how high up on the grid do you want to start?
Yeah, that was kind of something I was asking about yesterday when we were talking about that challenge, where it's like, what if you go too fast and you end up causing an engine problem or miss an important step in the engine building process? It's kind of a catch-22 where track position is critical, but making sure your motor starts and makes it through the tech line, mind you, because there's a tech aspect.
Well, the motor starts, if it starts on the stand, that might be okay, right? Because that's where they call the time. But just starting the motor doesn't mean that everything's nut and bolt checked, right?
Yeah.
They typically will take hours or half a day or a full day to do an assembly. And again, many of them will go through their race motors a little more than that, but that's not necessarily what this package was brought out to be and what it is continuously meant off the production line to be reinforced. And that is you can take a motor out of the box, put it on a go-kart, block stock, and go run to the front of the pack.
And be able to drive it and be able to run it successfully. That's the challenge of going to be seeing how those engines fare, but better yet, they're quality engines in the first place.
They are. Briggs & Stratton spends a ton of money throwing out motors that are out of compliance off the production line. Parity is a huge, huge pillar of the Briggs & Stratton 206 platform. And the Briggs Out of the Box Challenge, it goes to show you how quick and easy it is to bolt one of them on and go racing. We thought we were going to have 10, maybe 15 minutes to walk up and down the grid last year once they blew the air horn that they could start. And within about 3 minutes, the first team was already done. So this will be a fun-to-watch frenzy that we'll have to keep our head and mobile cameras on a swivel to see who's the first one to get done, because it is wild, to say the least. You're allowed as many helping hands as you want. Obviously, too many hands kind of gets in the way, and bodies get in the way on the go-kart, so you don't want to load up your pit crew with too many people helping you out. You want to lay everything out in a strategic manner of the order of operations, right? You're going to have to take the motor out of the box, get the extra pieces there. You got to bolt the pipe on. You've got to obviously get the motor mount, 4 screws into that onto the bottom, then throw it onto your go-kart, bolt that up, throw the chain on, get the tension at least halfway good enough. That's another thing, right? That'll take more time for the teams that want to take the extra minutes on the grid to get the chain tension right. Too tight, and it'll come off. Too loose, it'll slip off. So finding that right balance. All the other last bit of checks there, making sure you set your bolts nice and tight but not stripped on the motor mount in case you need to adjust it at all during their tuning window as well, because with the alternate layout they're going to want to make gear changes, or they at least want to have the luxury to do so. You don't want to be locked in with your original gear that you slap on the go-kart, because you don't know if you're going to have a better ratio on the alternate layout than the one that you've been racing on all day long. Last year, a change in the course had them take a full left-hand turn where they would normally go right at turn number 6 and rejoin the track right before the green corner, which was fun to watch. Cameron Reed was able to win the race from, I think, 5th or 6th on the final lap. Again, that's all coming tomorrow night, though. Tonight, it's a long day for the hardworking crew here, for all of us in broadcast production, but even more so for the officials and flaggers running around on the racetrack and trying to keep everyone safe and officiated as fairly as possible, because we've got 2 more practice sessions for the afternoon groups that'll get to take to the circuit. They haven't been on track since yesterday afternoon for practice number 4. They'll get a warm-up and a happy hour. They'll qualify, which will split them into even smaller groups, try and make the track a little less cluttered, a little less traffic for a full house in senior light and a near full house in a handful of other classes coming up. And then once they're qualified, they'll get into this part of their day with the heat racing action. That'll be all the way down at 7 p.m., so we'll be pushing nightfall, sunset hour probably to kick it off with juniors. Senior light, bat and cleanup at 8:05 and 8:20 will probably be fully under the lights. here at Newcastle. They're getting the last few, as you can see on your screen here in Prodigy Motorsports Sportsman, gridded for the single file restart, where Dominic Gaddis will take the remaining go-karts running back to green. More than likely, we'll send them around for a full outlap, I would think. But with that lengthy run down to I-70 and back down the front stretch, they might opt to let them just go green right off the rip. And then when they do, again, folks, if we stay with the schedule, it would put us back on track at 3:20. We might be a tick behind that because they want to make sure they can get their drivers meeting in as well to get the afternoon and evening drivers informed, because some of them will be some of the same names you're seeing on your screen in the adult classes, but the cadets and the sportsmen, they'll be done for the day, and it'll be a different batch of drivers tonight. The juniors have been waiting all day to take to the racetrack. They won't get to see it until 3:20 for their warm-up, and then in the rest of the night show, it'll be senior heavy, the legends, ages 50 and over, and a nearly full grid of 50 of them in total, and senior light will then be the final division on the running order for the afternoon and night sessions. So they'll have RLV hot lap qualifying, and then again, senior light playing at the end of the lineup, just like junior and senior medium. Senior light and junior, more than 60 on the list means not all of them get to make it to the grand finals and line up on the grid on Sunday. So they'll be split in groups just as senior medium was, with A, B, C, D, 2 different heat races for each round, playing the round robin format until eventually we get to our top 56 off heat points, and the rest of the field fighting for those final few starting positions for the grand finals to make our 60-car fields. All that again on Sunday. This is the build towards it here on this Friday afternoon. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage so far, because again, we're just about halfway. You can see most of the engines are back fire. We're trying to get a few more back going so all the kids can continue that are still on the circuit. Should still have about 34 of them, I think, based on what we are seeing. And we'll get a 3-lap run to the finish. Couple kids waving their hands in there, trying to let the officials know they still need a little bit of a hand to get fired up and give them all a good check.
Yeah, a few of the drivers actually giving some assisting as well in the mid-pack at least, just trying to get whoever's closest to them. Make sure things are good to go. Looks like we've got all thumbs up and some cheering drivers in response to being able to keep on racing.
Here we go. We'll send them back. 3 laps remain for Sportsman in heat number 1. Dominic Gaddis will parade them back under power towards the far section of the racetrack, and then I think straight down the front stretch we'll send them back green. So this will complete lap number 5 on the order to put them at the full 8-lap distance. They'll try to warm some heat back into those Vega tires. RJ Brown in the middle of an MPG Motorsports sandwich as they head down to the inside tram lane, and look to Jason Burgess, stood high up top the barriers on the inside of the racetrack. Sportsman, presented by Prodigy Motorsports, ready to get back underway here from Newcastle as they work their way down to the man in the orange stripe and black striped suit. Here we go. Once again, Heat 1, Sportsman back underway. Full field rumbling through turn number 4. A nice and clean start here by Dominic Gaddis. RJ Brown second, and now challenge for third. Aston Wyatt wasting no time here on this 3-lap restart. Daniel Dragunov the same. He'll follow him and then go right by him in the cell tower. And the 151 is now up 13 positions to third. The Nitro Kart driver has 2 more left, and he's got him well within his sights here, well within reach of RJ Brown and race leader Dominic Gaddis. They'll get the 2 to go this time by as well, and we'll have to keep tabs if anyone else has made up spots on the restart. Here's a little fade down low. Tanner Barr's trying to keep that next pack at bay with the likes of Brody McDonald and Hayden Lawson.
Yeah, Dragunov, though, doing a good job to try and close on up right now. It's worked well with just about everybody. Now has a teammate at least to try and tangle with, to try and close this ground. 2 laps to do it, though. And the question is, What will the Nitro karts do? Where will they go for the move? All while Brown continues to try and push Gaddis and try and limit the variables, try and make it a 2-car battle. Problem is, drops already suction up the Nitro karts and has brought an MPG with them.
Yeah, here we go. Teammate for Dominic Gaddis there, Will Feitinger, sorry, back of the top 5, looking for a way past maybe on Aston Wyatt. And while they were defending a little bit going into the horseshoe, Tanner Barsh has reconnected that main contingent now through the cell tower corner. So it goes back to Hayden Lawson in the Paralyn. It could also go back to original front row starter Jerome Wickham and Laney Thigpen. They've got new life here on this 3-lap restart. Pass for third. Dragunov was trying to lead him forward. Aston Wyatt said, not quick enough for me. I want to take us to the front. And behind him, Feitinger had a look, didn't make anything of it. It'll still be Dominic Gaddis out in front over RJ Brown. But for how long, Justin? When you're in second, yes, you want to try and push the leader away. But when you realize it's not working, you've got to make that move yourself or you'll be fresh meat for the rest of the pack coming up on you.
Yeah, at this point, you can tell the urgency's there. They're starting to switch lanes for the white flag, this time by Brown. Diamonds and hits the left rear tire of Gaddis. Costs himself a pass. Battle is on again for third amongst the teammates. Things are kicking off as Brown had a prime opportunity into turns 1 and 2. Lost the chance and now tries to take it to 5 instead.
Good crossover for RJ. He'll get a big shove from Aston Wyatt, trying to shove his way up to second, and it won't work. And around the outside. What a move. Will Feitinger takes over, headed into the horseshoe. Problems further back. Tanner Barsh with an issue. He slows there in the middle of the double right-hander, but it's Will Feitinger to the lead. RJ Brown second. Aston Wyatt now covering for third. He knows the pressure is there from former race leader Dominic Gaddis. Hayden Lawson now into the top 5. Right behind him is McDonald as they go to the infield for the final time. RJ high, down low for Feitinger. Side by side, 2 wide now coming out of the infield. Hairpin further back, but it's single file as the top 2 race into the shark fin. Final time right here, maybe. I think that was a good enough exit though. Feitinger safe to the last turn. It'll be a drag race, if anything, here coming to the front straightaway.
Will there be a chance here? Looking close down the straightaway. It's going to be Feitinger holding on for the race win.
Will Feitinger, Heat 1 winner, and a stunner to pull it off in Sportsman. What a move. RJ Brown, Dominic Gaddis third over Aston Wyatt. Hayden Lawson ends up in the 5th spot. Laney Thigpen, Jerome Wickham, Brody McDonald, Keegan Irwin, Clayton Stiles, your top 10. That was incredible, the move for the 210 to go from 4th to 1st there in turn number 5 on the final lap, Justin.
Yeah, some incredible moves there. All kicking off with RJ Brown trying to make that first crossover down to start the lap with that contact, slow them up. Still made the second chance, but things really boiled over by the time they got towards Cell Tower. Feitinger really taking advantage of that whole situation.
Great move for the MPG Motorsports driver. He'll score the Heat 1 win in Sportsman as we head down to the rest of the field in the scale line.
Please.
So we've got a short break in the action here, folks. Sportsman drivers headed through the scale line. The track will go cold for just a little bit before we get back onto it with the first of 2 junior groups. 4 warm-ups set tentatively for 3:20. So we'll have the Perico countdown to green going up here in a little bit. But with the track cold, it gives us a minute to catch up with some more drivers. Let's send it down to Caleb Vieska, standing by with our Sportsman Heat 1 winner.
Thank you, Xander. Will, what a move around the outside to the green corner. Tell me a little bit about that.
I just sat in the back, waited for them because they were all blocking low, and I decided, hey, I can rip the high side, and then I crossed them all 4 over.
Tell me about, as well, that little break in between the race. Again, you were a little bit ways back, but did that give you a little bit of a chance to kind of reset and gain that momentum?
Yeah, it kind of messed us up, though, because we went pretty low on pressures, so we didn't really have all of it at the end, but...
There you go. Thank you, Owen. We'll wish you the best of luck for Heat 2 tomorrow.
Thank you.
There you go, folks. First batch of racing in the books here from CKNA Grand Nationals number 9 from Newcastle. You can see the track starting to clear out. Don't worry, we'll have go-karts back on it here in no time. Take a look here at the Perico countdown to green in a moment. And when we return, junior drivers take to the racetrack for their first warm session of Friday from CKNA Grand Nationals number 9.